Live from the Jersey Shore to the world. Get up, get out, do something. Wake up with Jeremy Grunin. Take the show wherever you go. Download the free Radio Pup app for your smartphone or tablet. Join the conversation. 732-505-1160. News Talk Radio WOBM AM 1160 and 1310. Listen online at WOBMAM.com.
Good morning and welcome back. I am Phil Brilliant, and this is Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin. It is 6:09 on Friday morning, September 30th. It is miserable outside. It's about 60 degrees. It's raining. So today is a great day to get up, get out, and do something, but make sure you do it in a raincoat. We are joined this morning by Ralph Stocco, the Community Affairs Officer for the Toms River Police Department. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. A little earlier in the morning than normal, right?
A little bit.
But it's good. And you said you live down the street, so it's really not that bad.
No, not too bad.
Yeah, but I assume you didn't walk here this morning.
No, not this morning.
You know, and you didn't run into any Pokemon searchers either.
No, that's kind of waned a little bit, but Toms River has been a hotbed for the Pokemon searchers over the last month.
It
or
really
two.
has. I was kidding. The first day I came in here after Pokemon Online or whatever it's called, Pokemon Go, hit. I couldn't get down Washington because of all the people in the street at like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. They were searching out. It was crazy. But, okay, enough about me. Let's talk about you. So we were actually talking before we went on the air. So you're a local guy.
Yeah.
Tell us a little about yourself, how you ended up here.
Grew up in Island Heights, which is a town just adjacent to Toms River. So I've been here my entire life, 50 years, and went to local high school, St. Joe's, now Monsignor Donovan. Mm-hmm. And after that, I went off to college at Trenton State College, now College in New Jersey. I guess they changed the name.
They changed the name after you finished. I don't know. This must be a story behind this here.
Yeah, who knows? You never know. I don't know if it's good news or bad news. And then I came to my hometown and became a police officer right after I graduated college in 1988, and here I am.
This is great. And your job as community affairs officer is kind of unique because you work for the police department, but you're really the bridge between the public and the uniform officers. How does that work?
Exactly. What it is the community affairs. It's kind of like it's a one-stop shopping. Anything that people need from the community, that they need a resource from the police department, they have an issue. They have a crime watch problem. They have anything going on in the community. They need help from the police department. So I'm kind of a middleman between the police officers and the chief of police, Chief Little's office, and we kind of just try and get things done. We also wind up having community outreach to neighborhood watch groups, crime prevention. We have tremendous success with our police Facebook page, which I run. We put wanted pictures up of people, and we wind up catching them sometimes 3, 4, 5 hours after their picture's posted. I mean, it's kind of like a new way to be a detective and get things done.
So everybody's kind of involved. They
are. It is. It's a community involvement type of thing. So in the old days, you'd put a wanted poster out, or other police departments would get information about a bank robber or a suspect that you're looking for, and it would go through the normal police channels. And you either have to go find them or search their houses or police databases. Now with community involvement and social media, we post a picture up of a suspect from a bank robbery. The local news media picks it up, and we wind up getting 10, 20, 30 tips. A lot of times from ex-disgruntled wives and girlfriends, but we'll take it however we can get it.
It's funny you say that, though, because if somebody says to me, "Oh, you look familiar," or I'll be somewhere and they're like, "Oh, you look familiar," whatever it might be, and I'm always like, "Oh, you must have seen me on the wall in the post office." And there are individuals who are like 40 and under who have no idea what that means.
No, it's a generational gap because
totally.
When we were growing up, that's what it was. They had the New Jersey Most Wanted, the FBI's Most Wanted, and they would hang the mug shots.
In the post. Do they still do that?
I think they still do.
Okay.
It's a nostalgia thing, I guess.
I don't know the last time I've been to the post office either, so.
I try and avoid it.
Yeah, definitely. So using Facebook, and I'm assuming that's probably Toms River Police Department, people would find that on Facebook?
It is, yep. Toms River Police Department.
Like the page, so it probably comes up in their stream, and if you put a wanted poster up there or a want ad up there, it'll come up in their stream, and you're expecting them to call, or do you actually just go right and comment right there, and you guys, excuse the phrase, police the Facebook page?
We do. We check it every day. I mean, it's not monitored 24 hours a day. It's more of a daytime thing. But what we'll do is we'll post the information up on Facebook if we have a wanted person. Same thing into the local news media. And we'll take information several ways. Everything's confidential. People can private message us and give us a tip anonymously. They can also make public comment. This person lives here, they live there, and it's kind of like a two-way thing. So a lot of times people, they're afraid to get involved, but they realize they have a civic duty to do so. And this is a way, kind of like the old phone, anonymous tip line. Somebody would call up and say something, but this gives it a little bit more legitimacy, and it's kind of a real-time thing. We can talk back and forth about stuff.
So that's a great lead-in. See something, say something.
Exactly. Yeah. We just saw that in Seaside Park within the last couple of weeks.
Let's talk a little bit about Seaside Park. So we had the incident in Seaside Park. Thankfully enough, so many people showed up that day that registration got delayed. So really where the explosion was, there was nobody in that area yet.
Right.
But if they would have gotten off on time at 9:30, it could have been very disastrous.
Oh, absolutely. And, there was some talk about there was a backpack there, too, that the police departments and the sheriff's departments were taking a little extra time just to check out. Turned out to be nothing, but that was also part of the delay. So the fact that somebody saw something turned out to be nothing, but inadvertently maybe saved a lot of lives, because this could have been another Boston bombing. It could have been tragic.
Right. Now, how does something like that happens here in Seaside affect how the police department now responds and acts here in Toms River?
Well, in Ocean County, all the police departments, they talk on a regular basis. So we have task force put together. We also work with the Ocean County Prosecutor's Office, Division of Homeland Security. And if we have information, we pass it along to the other police departments, and the same with them. So when we realized that there was a person out there, we didn't know what was going on. We had our bombing, and then we found out about the other one in North Jersey and New York City. We wound up enacting some plans to give our school system extra protection. As you know, we're one of the largest school districts in New Jersey.
Yep.
So our main priority was to make sure we didn't have any issues with our school system. So we had extra personnel patrolling the schools, and we want to make people feel safe. And we have a big event upcoming in Toms River. We have the Halloween parade.
That's right.
One of the largest parades.
Back on October 31st for the second year in a row.
It is for the second year in a row, because when I was growing up, it was always on October 31st. Right. And for the last couple of years, they switched it and experimented with it a little bit after Superstorm Sandy knocked us out that year. I think that was the only year that we had a cancellation.
That's right.
So when we have big events like that, we have plans in place, very specific, meticulous directives that we follow. So we'll utilize bomb sniffing dogs. We'll utilize plainclothes detectives. We have a command post that we set up downtown that is actually a duplicate dispatch center that from what we have at police headquarters. We have dispatchers and supervisor personnel actually stationed downtown in a mobile command post.
Oh, wow. Okay. So it's really like, as opposed to having to wait for responses, everything is already in place. If by some chance something were to happen, you're all right there ready to go because everything is downtown.
Absolutely. And it's we're ready to be reactive if something happens, but we're also proactive. So you'll see police officers even the day before, because people put their chairs out, their blankets out, and it's a big event in Ocean County.
Oh, it's a huge event, and I know that for years and years you get out there a day or two before and you put your chairs, you tie them to the tree and make sure nobody takes them, and that you have your spot for the parade. And there are a lot of people, especially when the weather is good. And last year was a warm Halloween. Mm-hmm. You will fill the down Main Street onto Washington Street, and there's a lot of people, and I'm sure as a police department, you really have a lot to watch and be concerned about. When we come back from the break, I want to talk more about how you prepare for these type of events and how the public can help you in that preparation, what it may be relative to communication, or if they see something, say something. I'll say that a few times today. We'll be back in a moment.
Stay tuned for Preferred Company with Joel Markell and Marianne Levy at 8. Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin continues next. News Talk Radio WOBM AM 1160 and 1310.
Good morning. Welcome back to Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin. It is 6:22 on Friday, September 30th. It is raining, and I am continuing to push through these hours. And I'll tell you, Ralph is great. You can tell that Ralph has been trained to handle every type of situation, because I'm sitting here, he's talking, I'm blowing my nose, I got my eye running, but he's working his way right through it. He is great. So I feel very good that we are protected by the police here in Toms River. When we went to break, we were talking about the Halloween parade and talking about how the police get set up there. But I got to believe when you set up for these big events that come up in town, that you really need the public to really cooperate and assist you in how you do that. Is there a way, and sounds crazy, is there a way you wish or you appreciate the public to act when you're trying to handle and set up for these situations?
Yeah, I mean, what we tell people is, first off, we want people to get involved, but not physically involved.
Right.
It's that old phrase, see something, say something, but we want people to be good witnesses. And that's what we really need. Let the police be the police and let the citizens have a good time. But when you find something that's just not right, be a good witness, gather information. I mean, if you see something, you need to call the police department. You can Facebook message us. You can call the regular police department phone number, 349-0150, and speak to dispatchers. That's 24 hours a day. But not only if somebody has an opportunity, if they know something's going on, if they hear something, we want as much information as possible. I mean, in these days with cell phones, I mean, it's great.
Right.
Snap a picture of something. You see a vehicle that looks out of
Always
place.
have a camera on you.
I mean, the best thing, if we get a description, a blue 4-door car with a male and a female sitting in it, it doesn't help us very much.
Right.
You snap us a picture, even if we don't have a license plate, we can narrow down makes and models for that. But, mainly we want to get information, and that's what we need. That's how crimes are solved. It's information, and most crimes are solved through a combination of police work and tips and cooperation with civilians, because we can't be everywhere.
Right.
If you're riding around in a police car in your post, you're only going to see something yourself and act upon that. But if you've got a town of 95,000 residents, that's our eyes and ears. That's where we get the most amount of success is through our citizen contacts.
So you just made me think of two questions. We'll go with the first question first. So we have 911.
Right.
And then we have 732-349.
0150.
When are you calling each of those numbers?
911 is going to be an active emergency. You need the police there now for something.
Right.
And that's what that 911 is kind of geared towards. Emergency, you need us.
Right.
349.
Is the 911 also, like, if someone dials 911, do you know where that call immediately came from?
It depends on how the call came in, but generally it'll pinpoint down to a location. But certain people have caller ID blocks and everything else. So the main thing, and we teach kids too, even though we can track a phone number, a lot of times we get calls from kids, 911.
Right.
They don't know where they live. And, a lot of times you teach your kids, here's your home phone number, here's your address. Because you might have a 7, 8, 9-year-old kid dial 911 when their parent has a heart attack or passes out or something. And without being able to trace it backwards, that's a problem.
Right.
So,
And it's terrible these days, too. I will tell you, because of cell phones, I put a person's phone number in my cell phone. Okay. I don't know their number. I mean, I know my personal number. I have a number at home. But if somebody said, well, what's your daughter's cell phone? I'm going to really embarrass myself. What's your daughter's cell phone number? I have to look it up in my cell phone. If I ever lost my cell phone, I would be in trouble.
Well, we're a victim of the success of technology. I mean, I could still remember, for some strange inane reason, phone numbers in my head from 20 and 30 years ago.
I remember all my friends' numbers from 20, 30 years ago. I have no idea my daughter's cell phone number.
Exactly.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
It is terrible. But the regular general number you want, that's really the tip line. That's the, if you see something, say something, or a non-emergency.
Right. And it's for a lack of a better word, it's like a switchboard. So the dispatchers will take it in, the information, you call that number, and then they're going to filter it out as to where it needs to go. Does it need to go to the chief's office, the detective bureau, the patrol division, the crime prevention division? So you call in with your problem. They're trained. They're going to figure out where your phone call needs to go. You leave a message or an email. Most of our police officers will call you back within 24 hours if you have a tip, or even if you just have a question about things.
Okay. We're going to be going to news break. When we come back, we'll be with Ralph Stocco. He is the Community Affairs Officer for Toms River Police Department. We want to talk about how big our police department is and what activities we have coming up in the next couple of weeks, months, and years.
Great.
Back in a moment.
Coming up next, the latest from WOBM News, the Town Square, New Jersey News Network, and Fox News Radio. Wake up with Jeremy Grunin. News Talk Radio, WOBM AM 1160 and 1310. Live from the Bob Levy Broadcast Center, overlooking the Toms River. It's time to get up, get out, do something. Wake up with Jeremy Grunin. Be a part of the show, 732-505-1160. News Talk Radio, WOBM AM 1160 and 1310. Listen online at WOBMAM.com.
Good morning and welcome back to Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin. It is Friday, September 30th. I am Phil Brilliant, substituting for Jeremy this morning. It is 6:34 in the morning, give or take 3 minutes on your Radio Pup app. We're continuing our conversation with Ralph Stocco, the Community Affairs Officer for the Toms River Police Department. And I did confirm we came back on the air, so I asked the question. So how many police do we have in Toms River?
160.
160 officers.
Give or take, because due to retirement. So we fluctuate. Like currently we're down about 8 police officers due to retirements, but we just had a commitment with the township to replace them man-woman for man-woman. So with the commitment, once they're all trained and fully on the road through their probationary period, we'll be back to that 160 mark. That's what our goal in our table of organization is, that we feel is the sufficient amount of officers to patrol and investigate and secure our town.
Now, when you say 160, is that 160 uniformed, or is that detectives and everybody across the board?
That's 160 sworn police officers,
Okay.
But then we have 30 or 40 support staff when you count in secretarial staff, evidence technicians, people who work in the court system, the records division. So 160 is the sworn police officers, plain clothes and uniform.
Now, do we increase our number of officers for summer activities?
We do. We have special police officers that we bring in, and they do extra patrol predominantly over on the Barrier Island. So they'll patrol Ortley Beach all the way up through, excluding Lavalette, because Toms River is a portion of town to the north and to the south of Lavalette. So we go all the way up to the Bricktown border. And those police officers will do traffic control, they'll do parking enforcement, and they'll supplement the regular police officers.
Okay. I'm sure you and all the officers see everything going on across this country. Police have been under the microscope lately relative to a lot of the incidents, and then we see the protests that happen afterwards, and we all hope this does not happen in our town. But every day, I'm sure the police officers are confronted with some, individual or activity that has occurred that could escalate at that any given time. Are we going special training? Is there something happening now that really brings more awareness to this?
Well, absolutely. The police are under the microscope now, and there is a lot more awareness. But I can tell you, in Toms River, the training has been nothing new to us. Under Chief Mastronardi, now Sheriff Mastronardi, we've had training for the past 25 years. I mean, I remember 10, 15 years ago sitting in cultural sensitivity training, bias training, information about even things such as workplace harassment, stuff that a lot of smaller police departments don't have the resources to do. So we're very, very fortunate. But, when you look at police-community relations, you have to compare apples and apples to oranges and oranges. When you look at the Northeast, and I can specifically speak towards Toms River, you need a 4-year college degree to even take our test. So right there, you're looking at a minimum 22, 23-year-old age of a police officer starting out their career. Secondly, when we give a test in Toms River, we may have 10 to 20 openings over a 3-year list period when you take the test. We have 600 applicants to choose from consistently every year. And when you have that many applicants, you're getting the best of the best. Right. And I do have a sense of pride and esprit de corps for my own police department, but it's because I've worked with these men and women for so many years, and I've seen the quality of people we have and the amount of training that we get. So, yes, I mean, it is a new issue countrywide because it's in the spotlight, but Toms River, we have a great relationship with the community. If we make a mistake, we own up to it, we look at it, we reevaluate, and we always see how we can do things better. And that's what Chief Little is trying to do now. He's continuing on what was built previously, and I think we're well prepared to go into the next decade kind of having an upper hand.
Right. And I'll support the fact, I know as the president of Congregation B'nai Israel in Toms River, whenever I need a question answered or we have an issue that arises, I reach out to you or Chief Little, and bam, within minutes, we have some kind of action happening. We have a conversation going, which is great. So you do work extremely well at the community. And with that, if we don't go over what's on this card as to the activities, the fundraisers, and what the Toms River Police Department Foundation has going on over the next year, Jillian Messina will have my head. So we need to go over this and talk about this. We know, so I'll let you go. You can tell us what we got coming up.
Well, let's go backwards just real quick. We just completed one of our events. It was our 26th annual Vestacop dinner. And that's something the police officers love to do. Every year we go to Pizza Hut, and it was from 4 to 9 p.m. And what we do is the police officers trade in our ticket books for notepads and server staff aprons. We actually take over the dining room and we serve all the customers and we collect the tips, and that goes towards our police vest fund. Because each police officer is required to purchase their own police vest. That's not part of an equipment assignment from the town. It's not a burden on the taxpayers. But with 160 police officers and the average police vest costing in excess of $1,000, and those vests are only good for 5 years.
That's what I remember, yeah.
So for 160 officers every 5 years, we need to generate a tremendous amount of money to keep our officers safe. And that's our biggest fundraiser of the year. So, now we'll go for a plug going forward. So
yes,
that's what we've done. So that probably raised about $15,000, $16,000 last week.
Oh,
so,
wow, that's
yeah, it was
great.
a great event. And you know what else is fun? We have fire trucks there. We have sports stars there. We get a great turnout from the community. We get thousands of people for that event. Now,
cool.
Coming up, we have something that a lot of people are interested in. It's for the 18th year. It's the Jingle Bell Run. I'm not in shape anymore to be running.
I'm not
5
running
days.
either. Don't worry.
Yeah, but they do have a fun run and a walk and a kiddie dash, and that's going to be on Sunday, December 4th. So if anybody needs information on that, they can go to Jingle Bell Run at Verizon.net, or there's also jinglebellrun.com. And what that does is it raises money for the Police Foundation, which supports officers who may have passed away and their children and wives need a little bit of extra help. It's for helping other police departments that may have officers who've been shot in the line of duty. And also we have a scholarship fund out of that, where last year I think we gave out in excess of $6,000 or $7,000 to probably about 10 Toms River students that were, and it wasn't an academic based, it was a civic based type of scholarship. So we had kids, you didn't need to be a straight A student to get these scholarships. And
that is fantastic.
And the largest amount, some of the students actually received, 4 students received $1,500 each.
Oh, that is fantastic. So we have to go to another commercial break to pay the bills. When we come back, we'll continue with Ralph Stocco and talk about the 2 other upcoming events in 2017. Back in a moment.
Wake up with Jeremy Grunin wherever you go. Download the Radio Pup app for your smartphone or tablet. News Talk Radio WOBM AM 1160 and 1310.
Good morning. Welcome back to Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin. I am Phil Brilliant. It is 6:45 on Friday, September 30th, and we are continuing our conversation with Ralph Stocco of the Community Affairs Officer for Toms River Police Department. And when we went to break, we're going through the activities and fundraisers for the Toms River Foundation, and this is about the police officers. Some of this fundraisers help the police officers, but otherwise the fundraisers to give back to the community.
Yes, it absolutely is. It's a conduit that we can kind of pull different organizations and people together, and we want to give back to the community. And these fundraisers aren't just us soliciting the community to join. You're going to see our police officers out there. Just last week, we did a fundraiser for Special Olympics, and we had 20 police officers, led actually by Chief Little. We went up to the tarmac of Liberty Newark Airport,
right,
and pulled the Boeing 747 in a competition of 50 other agencies, and we came in 5th.
Oh,
and
wow.
that generated, just for our share of the donations, we generated $4,000 to $5,000. The event raised $100,000 for special education children and the Special Olympics.
That's amazing.
We like to participate and do these things and give back. And this is all volunteer work. So those 20 police officers
on their own time,
spent an entire day up on the tarmac, and we're pulling planes for charity.
Yep. I would have to assume that the Hogs for Humanity Poker Run is probably one of Chief Little's favorite events.
It is. Chief Little, and he's an old Harley motorcycle guy from way back, and he actually was the first supervisor of the police motorcycle unit.
That's right.
So you'll see them in the nicer weather. And Hogs for Humanity is going to be on Saturday, May 20th, and it's a motorcycle poker run.
Right.
And then we also have coming up on May 20th of 2017, the 4th annual Pros versus Heroes. It's a football tournament on the beach over in Seaside where police officers play against current and former athletes from the NFL to mixed martial arts.
Who was the big guy this past year? Edgar? What's his name?
Frankie Edgar.
Was here this past year.
Yep. And so we wind up playing them. So it kind of gives us a little advantage because they're used to playing on AstroTurf, and we're Jersey Shore boys and girls. So we like to think that we have the home turf advantage.
Now you
on
say
that
we.
set.
Did you play in that game?
I did not.
Okay. So
we leave that to the younger men.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say they, definitely they're the ones in shape. They're the ones definitely running up and down the beach and having the competitive edge. And for any of these and other activities information, you can always go to trpolice.org. I'm sure that website has this information for the foundation, as well as any information we talked about today, contact on how people can see something, say something to follow up on that, also relative to your detectives or any contact they may have.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%, Phil. And the main thing is Facebook is our main way we're communicating with everybody. So we're just in under 3 years, we're up to just about to hit 15,000 likes. So that's no small feat. I mean, routinely we put articles up. We can get upwards of 100,000, 200,000 views on there. Come to our Facebook page every day, like it, and become part of our partnerships.
And we need 85,000 more because we have 100,000 people in Toms River, right?
Well, exactly.
Yeah, so we got to get up to 100,000. Do that, and I think again. I appreciate you coming in here today, taking your time on early morning of Friday. I know every day, I'm sure you probably walk in and really never know what the day has in store for you. But I think it's good too. I mean, I will give, total accolades to the Toms River Police Department. I think what you do for community affairs, and especially in a community that on any given day becomes a little more diverse. I think you do a great job.
Thank you very much. Thanks for the invitation to come in. Got to do it again soon.
Thanks for joining me. We'll be back in a moment.